Hello and welcome. You're watching UTV Live at 6.
Good evening. These are the headlines.
Police say they are investigating 2 attacks on cars in East Belfast as racially motivated hate crimes.
To be attacked in that fashion is completely unacceptable. There is no place in East Belfast or anywhere else in Northern Ireland for vigilantism.
In Craigavon, a public safety operation which forced dozens of homes to be evacuated overnight ends.
And as Stormont votes on a motion about saving Lough Neagh, locals and activists say more needs to be done to tackle the issue.
Also tonight, we talk to volunteers who say their lives were saved by reconnecting with nature.
And weather-wise, a rather unsettled rest of the week, and it's all courtesy of the jet stream that's going to hold lots of low pressures near us, bringing lots of showery rain. I'll have the full forecast in just a bit.
Racism has once again raised its ugly head in Northern Ireland. 2 attacks at the hands of a mob last night at a retail park in East Belfast are being treated by police as race hate crimes.
Disturbing footage has gone viral of one attack which has been described as an attempted lynching and which has been condemned by politicians across the board. Our crime and security correspondent Sharon O'Neill has the story.
Under attack. Trapped inside this car, a terrified delivery driver simply trying to earn a living. The mob lashing out with whatever they can get their hands on. A closer look shows them trying to drag him out of the vehicle, but he manages to cling on to the door and in the end drive off unhurt. But this wasn't the first attack on Monday night at Connswater. Just before this, members of the gang targeted another vehicle. The driver fled in fear, both now being treated as race hate crimes.
That video makes for deeply unpleasant viewing, and I appreciate that some people have legitimate concerns around immigration, illegal immigration, may I add. But that behaviour is completely unseemly and not the way to deal with it. There are people who come here the right way, who are contributing to society and who are trying to earn money, and that's not, to be attacked in that fashion is completely unacceptable.
Look, I've consistently described some of this vigilante behaviour as attempted lynching. I think that's very clear that that's what happened again last night. We need to see a really robust response, both in terms of policing, but also political leadership. We need the executive to step up here. They need to provide the resources that the police need to tackle these issues.
Police have already increased patrols here in the east of the city in response to those patrolling the streets, singling out people from ethnic minority backgrounds, demanding documentation. And tonight, police standing firm. Self-appointed patrols will not be tolerated.
Well, Sharon joins us now in the studio. Are we seeing more of these type of attacks?
Well, first of all, Paul, we've had the protests. Then we had the vigilantes patrolling the streets, singling out people because of the colour of their skin. And now we've had these 2 mob attacks, which certainly is an escalation and will send out a terrifying message. It's been a very difficult summer with the race riots in Ballymena and still ongoing tensions there. We have had a high level of racist crime in Northern Ireland, the highest level. The lowest level of police numbers. Something has got to give, and the big question is what happens next on the streets.
Sharon O'Neill, thank you very much.
A man has been arrested and a quantity of ammunition has been seized by the police following 2 security alerts in Craigavon. Suspicious devices were initially found in the Pine Bank area last night.
A second alert was declared during the early hours of this morning in nearby Aldervale after an unknown item was thrown at a police car. Tori Watson reports.
A quiet residential area, now a crime scene. Homes here in Pine Bank and Craigavon empty since Monday evening. Families uprooted after suspicious devices were discovered in the area. Sometime later, residents reported hearing 2 controlled explosions. Then, during the small hours of this morning, yet another security alert, this time in nearby Aldervale, where an unknown device was thrown at a police patrol car.
This is a proud community. There's a very active residents group within this Pinebank area. They're constantly championing for better facilities for the young people. So we do have a play park nearby. We have a state-of-the-art Gaelic club. We have brand new schools nearby as well. There was a lot of disheartening whenever this came out last night, because this isn't reflective of the community that we're standing in. It's not reflective of them at all. When we do find out what has gone on, it will be the actions of a very small minority that have no place in this community. They have no support in this community, and indeed they need to get out of this community.
The Army bomb disposal team back on site this afternoon. Forensics carrying out extensive searches on the ground while the police helicopter circled overhead. I've spoken to a number of residents who were removed from their homes late last night. They didn't want to speak on camera, but they did talk about the upheaval this situation has had for them. They were told that they had to leave their property straight away in just the clothes that they had on them. In fact, one woman told me that she had to leave her dog inside her house. Many of them haven't been able to go to work today, and their children haven't been able to go to school. And while some were able to stay with family and friends in the local area, around 20 people had to spend the night in the local GAA club, where they were able to receive some shelter and food. Police said the alert has now ended. They've seized a quantity of ammunition along with a number of other items following searches in the Pinebank area. They'll now be examined. Nothing further was found in Aldervale. One man has been arrested and remains in custody. Tori Watson, UTV Live, Craigavon.
An Alliance Party MLA has been asked to withdraw from the Stormont Assembly chamber for challenging the Deputy Speaker during a debate.
Lough McAllister was told to leave the Assembly after clashing first with the Education Minister, Paul Givan, and then the Deputy Speaker, Steve Aiken. In a statement this evening, a spokesperson for the Alliance Party has said the convention of treating MLAs with courtesy is being eroded. Our political correspondent Vicky Hawthorne reports.
It started with an alliance question to a DUP minister about his plan to reform education and his response.
The member, if she wishes to continue to challenge me, and she's entitled to challenge me, but I love the kind of pity me approach that the member takes. She'll have a pop at me, but whenever I respond in kind, plays the victimhood card, she really needs to step up and actually not be so precious about people that challenge her.
Another alliance member was not impressed with what the minister had to say.
Mr. Speaker, is it appropriate for the Minister to make what amounts to misogynistic comments in this chamber? It is an absolute disgrace that he just distracts and attacks, doesn't bother us, but people see through it, and it is an absolute disgrace that a Minister would act like that.
When it is not remotely the case.
The debate continued until it was brought to a close by the Deputy Speaker, but the following exchange quickly escalated.
Thank you very much indeed. That concludes... Just a second. That concludes the statement by the Minister. Point of order.
Thank you, Deputy Speaker. I don't need to be patronised. I just want to highlight that I asked the Minister a rather straightforward question.
Take her seat? Now, you have the opportunity to apologise for making that statement right now, because I believe that was directed at me. There's no patronising. I was waiting for the Minister to finish in accordance with what he's supposed to do. Would you care to make an apology, member?
No. Just, I learned from you. But Deputy Speaker, you need to take a look at
the member will retake her seat. Member, you have an opportunity to retract and make an apology for the statement you made, or you can remove yourself from the chamber.
Deputy Speaker, I won't make an apology, because you do need to look at the way that you do speak to many of the women in this chamber who do stand up, and the way you talk there. So I will not make an apology. And you can ask me again, my answer won't change.
Listen to the man. You are to remove yourself from the chamber right now.
And Lough McAllister packed her bags and did just that. She did not return to the Assembly chamber for the rest of the day and did not accept an invitation for an interview with UTV. It's understood Lough McAllister is expected to return to the chamber for its next sitting on Monday. Vicky Hawthorne, UTV Live, Stormont.
We can now go live to our political editor, Tracy McGee at Stormont. So, Tracy, extraordinary scenes in the Assembly chamber today. Do you know if Nuala McAllister has been suspended?
Yes, Rose, as they say in the movies, that escalated really quickly. Speaker Edwin Poots has been encouraging MLAs to conduct robust debate. I'm not sure this is what he had in mind. You ask, has Nuala McAllister been suspended? Well, we're being told by Stormont sources here that she has not. That she was asked to leave the chamber by Deputy Speaker Steve Aiken, and that is what she has done. But the Alliance Party were very clear that they didn't believe that Deputy Speaker Aiken had actually followed the proper rules on this. So there was quite a bit of back and forth between the party and the Speaker's office. So my understanding is that Mrs McAllister was asked to stay out of the chamber for the rest of the day, and that is what she has done. But we did get a statement from the Alliance Party late this afternoon. It's pretty clear they're still very irked by what happened. They said that the convention is that MLAs are treated with courtesy, and went on to say that patronising and shouting is not acceptable. Now, I'm sure that's not how Steve Aiken or even Paul Given would say it, but it was a very unseemly affair. That all said, I understand that Nuala McAllister will be back in Stormont tomorrow, carrying out her business as normal, and will be back in the chamber on Monday morning. So I think today is not a suspension. I think it's probably for everybody more of a cooling off for everyone.
Well, on a separate matter, the DUP leader said yesterday that an announcement is coming on the sub-regional stadia fund. Do we know what that's all about?
Yes, this is the fund that Gordon Lyons announced for football clubs here. They could apply for, it's not a huge amount of money, it's £36 million. So my understanding is that he is going to be announcing who has been successful. I caught up with the Minister earlier today, and this is what he told me.
I want everybody to eventually have their needs met, but we don't have the budget for that. So I will be taking forward a prioritised cohort to the next stage to go through the due diligence checks and the business cases to make sure that we can get this money spent over the next couple of years and make sure that we can make that difference. And that's what we'll be announcing on Thursday.
Tracy McGee, thank you very much.
Lough Neagh locals, activists and stakeholders have urged Stormont to do more about the toxic blue-green algae situation. The message came from a public meeting on the Lough shore last night, but those involved haven't had to wait long to hear from politicians.
An Assembly motion today called on the Executive to support all necessary actions aimed at rescuing the UK and Ireland's largest freshwater lake. Sarah McCarron reports.
The reason for this public meeting is to discuss the ongoing crisis of Lough Neagh.
Eel fishing for the first year ever has been silenced and stopped in Lough Neagh.
Everybody has a bit of the answer.
But it's really important that we start as quickly as possible.
Navigating this crisis together now. The public meeting comes 2 years after a similar gathering of representatives from fishing, farming, environment groups, politicians and Lough Shore neighbours. There was less finger pointing at who is to blame this time and more looking towards Stormont for answers beyond the in-progress Lough Neagh action plan.
My grandfather talked about it in the 50s, my father talked about it in the 60s, and you hear there now even in the early 80s. So there are solutions, so those solutions may well be above my remit. But if they're there, then politics needs to take the bull by the horns and get behind Minister Muir to drive these things forward.
It was a start, but it wasn't dealing with the core issues. And until we start really getting to the core issues and being probably, it needs to be a lot more ambitious there in terms of protecting the loch and how it's going to change actually public behaviour. Phosphates isn't just about agriculture and infrastructure, but the households are using a lot of phosphates. So we're looking at collective, effective, widespread change.
And I think that is one thing that has changed. There's a better recognition now of the many factors which have contributed towards the unfortunate situation we see in the Lough Neagh. And whenever we understand those factors, then we can look about how we start turning them around and how we start sorting this problem out.
Nobody ever made dreams come true by settling a vision on the basis of the amount of money you had in your pocket, because most of us have none, so we're going nowhere. So the government really has to set out ambitious visions for the future.
At Stormont today, a motion called for the whole Assembly to express grave concern at the return of the blue-green algae and to support all necessary actions aimed at rescuing Lough Neagh. It also asked the Assembly to express regret for supporting a motion to withdraw a public consultation on a new plan to reduce farm pollution.
The decision to support abandoning the Nutrient Action Plan while saying that we support the restoration of Lough Neagh was a grave error. Often when we make errors in politics here, we have to wait years or decades for the error of those ways to be shown. We didn't in this instance. We had to wait weeks.
That the burden of solving Lough Neagh cannot be solved by DAERA alone. It's incumbent upon the whole executive, all in this chamber, to help deliver the programme for government commitment to protect Lough Neagh. And whilst agriculture undoubtedly must play its part, we can't address this issue without addressing our filling wastewater infrastructure.
Will this fresh backing mean plans can go faster in the same direction, or will we now see a change of course? Sarah McCarran, UTV Live.
And a vote on that motion looks set to take place shortly. Meanwhile, over on our streaming platform, ITVX, you can watch a special documentary on the pollution fight for Lough Neagh and our drinking water. To find it, go to ITVX, select Categories, News, and then go to your area and select UTV. That's Lough Neagh, Troubled Waters, by our reporter Stuart Robson, available now.
CCTV footage showing Noah Donohoe leaving his home at 3:30 a.m. for half an hour on the day of his disappearance will be released to the public in the hope that it will jog people's memories ahead of his inquest in November. The teenager's body was later found in a storm drain in North Belfast in June 2020, 6 days after he went missing. A preliminary hearing was told today that the footage would be released in the coming days.
St Eugene's Cathedral in Derry has been celebrating a special link to the newest saint in the Catholic Church. St Carlos Acutis, known as the patron saint of the internet, was an Italian teenager who was canonised at the weekend, less than 20 years after his death.
And it has also given hope to the family of a nun who was born in the city that she could be made a saint in their lifetime. Our Northwest correspondent Gareth Wilkinson reports.
A new saint for the digital age. The Pope canonised Carlos Acutis at the weekend, marked by a special ceremony in Rome's St Peter's Square. An ancient mass making a very modern saint, known as God's first influencer. And in Derry, St Eugene's Cathedral, devotion to St Carlos had already begun, started a few years before as the Italian teenager was on his way to canonisation.
I was on the internet, as Carlo was often, and I was looking about Eucharistic miracles, and he, as a teenager, had created a website of all the Eucharistic miracles in history. And I was fascinated that a young fella in his teens would do that. And so then I thought, I must find out who his mother is. And so I did, and I contacted her. And so we have had some contact ever since.
St Carlos's mother sent 3 strands of her son's hair, now displayed as a holy relic in St Eugene's Cathedral, beside a specially commissioned statue.
Do you plan to get in touch with his mum now again, now that he's been made a saint?
The dream always is that she'll come here. Because what is it like to be the mother of a saint? And I believe she's only the second mother who was present at their child's canonisation in the history of the church.
Also praying to be present at another one is the family of Sister Claire Crockett.
This is our wee information point. This is where you can get everything on the one place of Sister Claire.
T-shirts.
T-shirt, hoodies, with our logo on it. And our
All or nothing, her famous saying. Devotion to the Derry nun continues to grow.
How busy are you then?
Non-stop. And they come from everywhere.
Sister Claire was a party-loving teenager who found God and became a nun. She was killed in an earthquake in Ecuador in 2016, but earlier this year she was made a servant of God, the first step to sainthood. Canonisation can take centuries, but it seems to have been fast-tracked for St Carlos, giving Sister Claire Crockett's family hope.
She's got this far this quick, so I don't say it'll be too long. And I would say St Peter's Square will be full to brim with Derry people too.
Do you think it's going to happen soon then? Does this give you great hope that it'll happen?
Oh, not far away. Definitely not. She knew what she wanted. She wanted to be famous, and she's getting there. She's reaching the top.
Prayers are being said that this Derry girl is next in line for a holy elevation. Garth Wilkinson, UTV Live, Derry.
And it's time now to look at the headlines making tonight's ITV news at 6:30.
And here's Mary Nightingale.
On the evening news, we'll have the latest as Israel carries out a series of strikes targeting senior Hamas leaders in Doha. Qatar has condemned the attack, calling it a blatant violation of all international laws and norms. New league tables name and shame the best and worst NHS trusts in England, but will it improve patient care? And Bagpuss is awoken from a 50-year slumber to fix modern Britain. Do join me for those stories and more at 6:30.
The Belfast Hills Partnership offers young people a chance to become a trainee park ranger every year. The trainee volunteers carry out weekly tasks, including tree planting and habitat management.
The scheme is not only beneficial to the environment, but to the young people who take part, with volunteers saying it has helped their mental health. Daniel Duffy has this report.
The Belfast Hills are many people's escape from the stresses of life, with dog walkers and hikers enjoying the views over the city. Some people volunteer in the hills to learn conservation skills. The Belfast Hills Partnership offers a trainee scheme annually.
It's an opportunity for them to have maybe more of a clearer idea of what are the possible jobs in the green sector, and just gain some more practical experience and meet some like-minded people as well.
Ryan volunteers in the Belfast Hills and joined the Park Ranger trainee scheme last year following illness.
I had acute lymphoblastic leukemia back in 2019, so just at the start of COVID. So looking at my window was my only real escape from everything going on. It kind of like set me in motion of wanting to get back out into nature, taking a lot more of an interest in actually learning what the trees and stuff are around me.
Amber also volunteers in the Belfast Hills. She has battled depression in the past and believes that reconnecting with nature has improved her mental health.
I felt like I was meeting a lot of people with really interesting backgrounds, like all the fellow rangers, and people who are also neurodivergent, people who are struggling with their mental health, people who were almost going through the same kind of things I was going through, and it was just really good to meet people like myself. You get to do so many different things. It's not like you're outside doing the exact same thing every week. It's just so many different branches of the environmental sector you get to do. Good to just be able to see what is out there for you and to get that experience and talk to other people who are like-minded with you and just want to learn new things.
The outdoors is good for your mind and good for the soul, and with volunteers like these, the Belfast Hills are in safe hands. Daniel Duffy, UTV Live.
And the Belfast Hills are a wonderful outdoor resource, and they're free. Now, the Republic of Ireland are currently in World Cup qualifying action. In their first away game of the campaign, they are losing 2-1 to Armenia. The weather's next.
Here's James Wright.
Feel-good weather is set to continue throughout the day. UTV Weather, sponsored by the Grant Irona R290 heat pump.
Hello there, good evening. Sunny spells and showers gives us rainbows, and there's a fair chance of seeing a few rainbows over the coming days. This evening, got a little bit of a front draped across us, but there's another system out towards the west that's going to introduce more quite heavy showery weather. Low pressure really driving the weather over the next few days, and these lows really not going very far because of a bit of a kink in the jet stream. As far as this evening goes, then a few more showers still to push through. Hasn't produced that many showers today, in fact, maybe one or two sharp ones during the overnight period. Enough cloud cover and enough of a breeze to make it a milder night than last night. We're looking at lows of around 12 or 13 Celsius, and the breeze eases off a little bit too. Tomorrow then we are looking at a rather showery day, hopefully some brighter, even some sunny spells in between. First little system pushes through, but then the second one into the afternoon set to be a little bit heavier in nature. Wouldn't be surprised if we get the odd rumble of thunder. Still quite breezy, particularly as those showers push through, a little bit blustery at times, and temperatures pretty much average for the time of year, looking at highs of 15 or 16 Celsius. Obviously not feeling that mild in the showers and the breeze. As far as what happens next, you can see further afield, lots of scattered showers in amongst the sunny spells, and that's really the pattern for Thursday and Friday. Still rather breezy, lots of isobars on the chart, quite a few scattered showers, temperatures again around the 15-16 degree mark, and like I say, rinse and repeat once again on Friday. Saturday might be a little bit different with a bit more rain in the forecast. Have a good evening.
UTV weather, sponsored by the Grant Arona R290 heat pump.
So that's the latest news, weather and sport this Tuesday the 9th of September. Paul will be back with the late bulletin, and that's at 10:30.
The ITV News continues with Mary Nightingale, from Rose, from me, and the rest of the Tea Time team on UTV Live. Good evening.
Good evening.